Hello all, welcome to my channel. This is Babu Krishna. Today we are going to start the Linux shell scripting. The Linux shell scripting outline, you can check on the details what we are planning to cover. Today we'll start with the Linux shell scripting unit 1. There are 10 units. For details you can check in the outline video so that you will get the clarity what we are trying to cover. So here shell scripting will be covering the variables and all shell scripting actually. So conditional statements, loops, signals, and then command line arguments, options, values, everything we are going to cover this. So it is better if you refer to the Linux basics videos and come back to the shell scripting. But if you are very much well versed with that, yes, you can start with the shell scripting. Okay, so let us start with our notes and okay, so there is no note, so we have just started with. So let me create that. Okay, so this is session one, right? Yeah, so we'll be today covering on the unit one. Okay, so let us open the other relevant documents. Maybe we can change this name later. Right, sorry, Linux shell scripting. Oops. Okay, so now let us open our presentation. As we aware, we will see the presentation only to cross check our discussion. Have we missed any points? Then we will come to this once we have our discussion. So now let us open the outline because we need to know what we are trying to cover in this. Okay, so yeah, we'll start with this. This is the topics which we are trying to cover in this session, and if this session is more, we will see this one in the next part actually. Of course, this is the unit 1. Okay, unit 1 part 1, we'll try to see what we can cover. Otherwise it will have part 2 or part 3 based on the discussion. Okay, so now let us check on this introduction to shell. That is our point. And then what is command line interpreter actually? Okay, so the question is, what is command line interpreter? So command line interpreter means whatever you open a terminal and enter some certain commands, so that is the command line interpreter. So I open a terminal, control alt T, and I'll maximize. I'll just say ls actually. So this is whoever taking your command is called the command line interpreter actually. But who is taking that one command line, the request is nothing but a shell. So shell is a command line interpreter. Okay, so that's what the basic. So shell is a command line interpreter. So shell is command line interpreter. So before we going, what are the types of interpreters and all, we will first see how many ways like now it will understand actually. So the system will understand your program or yeah, your request in either of the two ways actually. So it is, one is compiler, another one is interpreter. Of course you have the assembler and all, but I am not discussing that one. So my main focus is the compiler and interpreter actually. Okay, so you have assembler, linker, and all that particular one you have. So but this is the our main focus. Means you have a program like C program or something, you use the compiler. C program, C++, Java and all, you use the compiler. But you have whatever the Python, Perl, Bash, and all TCL, it will use this particular interpreter actually. So the interpreter compiler is like no related. So what is the main focus of the compiler actually? So as we know, the system end system will not understand anything other than the zeros and ones. So we are writing a program which is human readable format, but that is not understandable by system. So someone has to translate this program to the machine language actually. So that is the compiler or interpreter. So compiler is nothing but a translation of high level language to program to low level or machine level language. But if you take this particular one compiler, it will only compile actually. But if you want to get your result, it is not possible with the compiler, because it is only done the compilation actually, means it is done the translation. Then how you will like no execute the program? So compiler means no execution, it is only just the compilation. But if you want to execution, you need to do this particular step called the execution step actually. So these are two steps. If you use C++ or C compiler or Java compiler, you have the two steps actually. So you will say, if it is C, you will say GCC and then whatever the file name. So I say GCC hello world.c. So this is the compilation step. If you want to execute, and if compiled successfully, it will give you the a.out file output from the assembler, and then / is current directory separator. So you will get your execution. Means execution means what? Loading program into the RAM and executing from the step one actually. So that is the execution. So this is two-step process. If you take the same thing, Java also hello world.java, and then you will say Java then hello world. Okay, so here the same thing actually. So if it is G++, C++, you will say something hello world.cpp. Then here also in the Linux I am telling actually. So this is all in the Linux I am telling. So it's any command line, not only the Linux, like in if it is like no Windows, it will be little different. Of course Java will work, but the GCC compiler and all will not be available. So this is for the Linux thing. So it is a two-step process actually. So one is translation, second one is execution. So execution means loading a program from the hard disk to RAM. So that are the two steps. But this is the compilation. But interpretation, it is nothing but internal compilation and execution. So it will like no, it will do the compilation and it will do the execution. So which we cannot see in certain languages how it compiled, but in some languages like Python you can generate the code. But like no, in some languages it may not be possible. Execution, you will know that one. So that's what this interpreter, it is, since it will be internal compilation and execution, it will be line by line actually. So it will not be a total file. Okay, so if you observe this one, the compilation, you cannot do the execution until compilation is successful. Means what? Compilation has to be successful in one shot actually. Means whole program at a time. This is line by line. This is whole program at a time, because you need to like you need to generate a executable. So if you want to generate executable, compilation has to be successful. Compilation successful, the program has to completely, you need to fix the program. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have like 1000 lines of code and your program is working up to 900 lines, compilation you cannot do. But in the interpreter, whether it is Python or Bash, whatever, you can do the execution actually. Up to the 900 line it will work, but beyond the 900 line it will not, it will not work actually. So this is brief about the compiler and interpreter. So there are shell is a command line interpreter, that's what we have seen. So there are so many types of shells actually. So these are the types of translators, that's what we have seen. And if you see the shell, both are same actually. Command line interpreter, that is nothing but a shell. Okay, so we are telling a car, and then we are telling a model. So like car, like Hyundai. So that's what, both are cars only, but manufacturer. So that is like similar to that actually. It is not exactly the same, but it is like that. So shell is a command line interpreter. So what is a shell? Shell is a command line interpreter. So and then we have the well-known shells actually. So means what? There are so many shells we have. So all shells started with something called SH actually. So SH is nothing but Bourne shell. So you have the Bourne shell actually. So as after that you have the C shell, you have the KSH K shell, so TCSH, and all that particular shells you have actually. So after that, initially, and some shells will take certain features from one shell to other shell. So after that you got something called the Bash, which is very popular now. So this is nothing but born again shell. So Bourne means the author of the shell actually. So that is a Bourne again shell. It taken the features of all the shells, and it is like no very much good at it. And you have the almost all features in the Bash you have actually. So that is the Bourne again shell. And you have so many other shells also, which you can refer on that. So let us assume I written one program in this shell actually. Whether will it work in other shell? No. right? So that is not possible. So it is like, no, you can port that one to other shell. So the best way is, like as I said, bash. You, whatever we are going to do is in the bash only, so that you let us assume, will it work in the CSH shell? No, it may not work. So, and what are the major difference between shell to shell actually? So shell to shell is certain differences is like, no, uh, command line editing and history, and then the arrows. So like that, there are certain things which will work in some shell which will not work. So if you just take yeah, we will see that one. Once we started, we will see that one, like little differences I will show you. Okay. So, and whatever, like, no, certain shells called ASH and DASH, as of now people are using, like Alam Quest shell. So this is called Alam Quest shell. Alam Quest shell. And this is whatever the dash is, whatever the Debian Alam Quest shell actually. So this one, Debian Alam Quest shell. Okay. Like this, you have this one. So if you take the TSH actually, so the name is taken from the whatever 10x operating system. That's what they were named as that. Okay. So both, all the shells will do the similar, will do the same functionality, but there may be certain features like in some shells. So if you see the bash shell actually, like arrow keys may not be working, history may not be working, like that, and in some shells backspace may not be working. But you have the bash which have almost all features actually. So that's what the bash. And then when you want to evaluate expression and all, there are multiple ways how you will be doing. So if you write in bash script, that is 80% of the times it will work in almost other shells, because every other shell as like, no, taken from the Bourne shell. Most of the shells taken from the Bourne shell as the base. So mostly it will work actually. So that's what the shell. Okay, so now let us go with the next one. Well-known shells we have seen, variables in the shells actually. So shell and environment variables. So how you will define a variable in the shell? So by certain rules actually, your variable should not start with numbers actually. It can contain underscores and all. It can contain underscores, it can contain alphanumeric things, like a general variable actually. So I give my variable name or something like this value. Okay. So I am passing 10. Okay. So like this. So now you know that one echo, printf, read commands, Linux basics we have seen. So if you want to see this value, you need to say echo dollar value, which will be 10. So you can also like, no, assign something, shell, whatever. So string also, so that is also possible actually. So and then you can say echo whatever the dollar value. So you can not only the integer value, you can assign anything to the variable actually, but you cannot. So 1v equal to 20, if I try to see that one, it will be saying command not found, because you cannot start the variable with a number actually. Okay. So now if I say something vy equal to 20, yes, it is taken. Why? Because the variable you can start with underscore, and you can start with alphabet, and it can contain a number, that is not an issue, but it should not start with number. So that is the basic rules of the variable. So these are the normal variables actually. And I open a shell, and I will try to say echo value 1 in another shell actually. So echo value. Okay. If you see this one, it will not be visible. So this value will not be visible, because this is only existing for this particular shell, and it will be running under shell. So if you want these changes to be permanent, you need to like, no, RC files you need to modify actually. So you need to put that one in the RC file, then only you will be able to do that one. Okay. So now let us say what are the environment variables actually. How you will know the environment variables? You just say env, right? It will give you the environment variables actually. So if you take whatever the environment, something like this, echo dollar shell, so many environment variables are there. So, and if you take this environment variable here in other shell also, it will be same, because this is visible in the other shells also. This is, since it is a environment variable. And so many environment variables you have, like pwd. Okay. Old pwd. And then yeah, there is no old pwd, because we have not did anything actually. So now if I say home, like I create Linux shell samples, right? Let us do creation shell samples, and then we'll try to see. So now we say shell samples. So now if I say pwd, now the current pwd, it will give the shell samples. And now let us say echo old pwd. Okay, it will give you the previous pwd. Not only in the home directory, you can go to the temp, or you can go to the user bin, or anything actually. So it is like your, okay, so old pw will be the latest one what we did. It will only have that particular one. Okay, so you have something called shell level. Okay, lvl, it will be one. Okay, so we'll see this one more on that, how it will be 2 3 and all, that particular one. So as of now you can see that is only the one. Okay, now these are like you can check on that. So the environment variables, you can just say env more. Okay, so then it will give you all the shell variables, so you can explore more on this. And you it can also give you the environment variables with this, like no print env. So that is also possible, both are same. So you see this one log name, like that. So you can explore the more on this particular environment variables actually. Now I'll show you something. Yeah, so now shell and environment variables we have seen actually. So now I will show you something interesting. Okay, so now um, okay, so now I say v1 equal to 10 actually. So that's what we already seen, right? V1, right? uh, okay, v1, maybe. Okay, we will assign something else also, not an issue. So I will just say v1 is 1 2 3 4 5, right? I say echo dollar v1, I have this. Okay, so now if I say v1, I think I have put this v1 in the bash rc file. That's what it is giving you. Okay, but generally it will not be it will not be given. So I think I have put that one in the bash rc file actually. So let us okay, so this we will see later. So we, I say take my v1 as maybe I will not use v1, I'll just say value. So which we, okay, which we have 10. So I will just reassign that something 1 2 3 4 5 6, something like this actually. Now I say echo dollar value. Now I have my value actually. Okay, so now if you see in this shell, echo dollar value, now if you see this one, it is empty because that value is not there actually. And if I say env grep value, it will not be there. That is not possible actually. So now let us assume I create how I know which shell I am running and all. You just need to say process status, which we have already seen that particular one in the Linux basics. Details about process status, you can refer Linux basics. Now I have something called 8729. This is the process ID of this particular bash actually. Okay, so this is the shell. Okay, so this is under this shell we are running actually. So let us assume I want to create a subshell under this shell actually. Okay, so I say maybe ps minus f, it is better. So it will give you whatever, like ps minus f, this particular command, it is running under this shell. Now let us assume I will say I will run another one shell under this shell actually. Okay, so now if I say ps minus f, this particular current shell, the PID is 8894, it is created under 8729, which is the base shell what we are running actually. And if you see here, this may be, this will be different. Okay, so this is another shell. Okay, everything, of course, the it will be child of the init process, which is PID of 1. Okay, so now we have this particular one. Now we will check echo dollar value actually. So if you see this one, this echo dollar value is not visible. Why it is not visible? Because it is only whenever you have the variable, it is not visible to the child process. So this is called the child process actually. It is not visible to the child process. But like if you want to make it visible, what you will do? So I will say exit. Okay, I'll come back to my base shell. Okay, the base shell I have, and then this is my child shell. So I have exited means it is removed, and now the process is deleted, it is no more. Okay, now if I say echo dollar value, now I'll get my value actually. Now let us assume I want to export this particular value. Okay, I just say export value. Okay, so now I have exported this. Now I am creating a shell, and then I am doing this. Now you can see here, once I created, and then I am able to see this value. So if I see this one, Now this is different shell. So once you exited, that process is no more available actually. So you can see here this is not available. Now you have 8925. So this is how you do that one. Now if I say env grep, let me come to this env grep value. Okay, now it is visible actually. So whenever you export a variable, it will become a here also you can see here it will become, oh sorry, here it will not be visible actually, because this is only this particular shell environment. If it has to be visible here, then you need to like no, whenever you are creating a shell you need to do actually, because that is the base point, which is nothing but bash rc. So here it will not be visible because this is only is for this environment actually. So this is the environment creation. Means you are running an application, you want to create an environment. Means what? You have certain directories, and then you need to set certain paths and all the things. That is the environment creation actually. So now let us assume echo dollar path. Okay, so this is whatever the path. So if you want to set your path, you want to add certain directories to your path and all, you will be doing actually. So that is the environment setup. It is available only for the shell. Once you say exit from this, it will not be available actually. So that is the environment variable. So environment, how we have seen whatever the shell variable to the environment variable to export actually. So bash startup files are something like no, if I say, if I will go to my home directory, okay, and I will say ls minus a, then you can see here this is the bash rc, and some cases profile will be there, dot profile. So the dot profile, if you see this one, that is nothing but it is calling your like no bash rc file actually. So that's what the main thing it is calling, and it has set the path. Okay, so you can also modify this, because if you have the permissions, of course your home directory you can modify, it is not a problem. Now like I say bash rc actually. So this is the file which is doing actually. If you see this one, lastly it will be v1 is 1234 I have put actually. So which is like now I said export v1. That's what, wherever you have the shell it is visible. Okay, so if you want to do this, you can do this one. So I did this and I said export v1, and the export v1 you can also do in a single step actually. No need to do in a two-step process. Now let us assume I can say export, I say echo dollar v2. Let us assume I give nothing is there. Now I can say export uh, v2 equal to 2345, something I have given. Now I say echo v2. Now I am creating a subshell, and then I am saying echo dollar v2. Now it is visible actually. So grep value v2. Okay, so you can see here which is visible, but this is only in this particular shell. It will not be available in the next shell actually. So these are the startup files. So you can add if you see this one, these are the startup file. History means it will contain the history of the commands, and then the logout means whenever you are logging out, it will be calling this. So these are all whatever the commands which are executed in the shell actually. So which we are doing from the whatever the Linux basics and all that are doing, that all commands will be, history will be available. Now I say bash whatever the logout, it will be doing at the time of logout actually. So this particular commands you can add like no, you can add this one if you are really doing in the project and you need, you can add the these particular profiles into that. So whatever you need you can add actually, resource file. Okay, so I hope you understood what we are what I'm trying to discuss, and get benefited out of this. So like now we'll see the remaining part in the next part actually, remaining thing in the next part. If you want, if you have any questions, please drop into the comment section. Okay, then see you in the next video. Bye for now.